Hello everyone. In this video, we are going to take the third and final step to getting everything in Lightspeed set up so that you can actually use it with your class to help monitor what's going on your students' devices. Hopefully you've already taken a look at how to manage your classes and hide the ones that are not the current school year, just keeping the ones that are this year's roster, and also the video about how to rename those classes so it's a little bit easier to go through and differentiate those classes. Now, the third step, and the most important of the three, because it's the one that really turns on all that functionality, is setting up the class settings and dealing with the class schedule. If you don't do this, you will not be able to get any information. So you definitely need to make sure you get this taken care of for each class. Once you do, you'll be able to start seeing exactly what's on your students' devices. So to deal with the class settings, there's a couple of ways to get to that. Number one, right here, very easy way to get to it, the giant class settings button. But if you are more comfortable going back to that management screen, you can always come back over to those three dots and click on the settings from here. Now, either way you get there, it's going to take you to the same place, and it's going to look something like this. Now, again, mine will be a little bit different because it's already been set up. You'll need to come down here and click on which days you want it to be active. You could include weekends if you want. I don't have enough free time to sit around and look at what my students are doing with their Chromebooks on Saturdays. I have slightly better things to do, but you do you, whatever works. But I just set it up for Monday through Friday. You can just click on the days that you want so they're highlighted. And then you can come over to these boxes to set up the time period that you want to be monitoring that. You can see here, I set up my first one from 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. because with students arriving at 7:55, and sometimes we're already getting into things, I didn't want to leave out that first small chunk of the day when I might need to keep an eye on things. It's unlikely that I will, but I'd at least like to have the option. You'll see up here that the maximum period length is only 60 minutes. Unfortunately, we thought we were going to be able to have the function where we could just set it up for any length of time that we wanted. So we could just do an easy like 7:55 to 2:40 p.m. and just be set with one class. Unfortunately, we are limited to 60 minutes at a time. So I just set them up for 1 hour chunks throughout the day. My conduct runs from 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. And then if we come here to the Skyward class that was defaulted to homeroom and we load up those class settings, eventually it should show us that it's there once it goes from 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. And then you can see how things go 9 to 10, 10 to 11, 11 to 12, and so on. And if you want to do it for slightly shorter chunks of time, or if you want to exclude like recess and lunch or your specials and things like that when they wouldn't necessarily be on their devices, you can certainly adjust those times as well. Just make sure that as you're typing those in, there will be a separate section for the hour, the minutes, and then you can just hit A or P for AM and PM, but just make sure you get that AM or PM in there. That way it definitely sets it for that 1 hour time period and doesn't think you're trying to do, some weird 11 or 12 or 13 hour, depending on how you've got it set up with the AMs and PMs. And then once you've got your time schedule in here, you just click save and it will set that automatically for you for that class, along with the daily schedule that you've already established. You shouldn't need to do anything down here about adding students or using an invite code. Everything should, keyword should, be synced up with your Skyward roster. Now, I know they are still making some little tweaks here and there, so you might see a student that's not yours pop up or a student that is yours drop, but as it syncs overnight, all of that should get taken care of. And usually by this point in the school year, all of that's already dealt with. So you shouldn't have too many issues with that. So don't worry about anything down here. Just set your day to day, set your time period for that 1 hour chunk, save it with that blue button right here. And then you can go up here and redo that process, selecting the days, setting the time, saving for each of the other classes. And it really does not matter which class is set at which time. That won't affect anything in terms of how Lightspeed works. It won't mess up anything on Skyward or Canvas or anything like that. So if you teach math first thing in the morning and you find that you accidentally set it for 2 to 3 in the afternoon, not a big deal. Your monitoring system still works. So once you get all of those set, then you'll be able to start getting the full functionality.